Welcome to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. Today, we are going to have an interesting conversation with a sister motorcyclist. Now, most of my viewers don't know I ride a motorcycle. I was trying to wear my helmet at the start of this, but the camera wasn't handling that right. So no helmet this time. But we're going to talk about not motorcycling per se, but the topic of confidence. Yet we're using motorcycle as the means for talking about confidence. And my guest is Alisa Clickenger, and she is the founder and the tour leader of Women's Motorcycle Tours, just like you see on the banner. So Alisa, welcome to Think About It.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you today.
So my normal question at the beginning is always, how did you come to do this? And I know that's almost the essence of your story anyway about confidence. I'll just let viewers know that over the pandemic time, we still were able to participate in your motorcycle tours by way of conferences online. So when I would tell friends, I've got a motorcycle event now, and it was last November, they're thinking, how are you doing that? And I said, oh, it's online. And that's where I met you. So yes, motorcycling is the essence of your whole story. Maybe just, 5 minutes. How did you come to do this? Make this your business?
Yeah, it's definitely been a process. I was going through a divorce and was having a lot of stress dreams. This was about 25 years ago. And I had one of those dreams. I was running for my life, and I had somebody hot on my heels, and I was running. And in the distance, I saw a motorcycle, and I fixated on the motorcycle and started running towards it. When I got to the motorcycle, I hopped on, threw a leg over, and in the magical way of dreams, I knew how to operate it. I turned it on, I sped away from imminent danger, and I literally woke up at that exact moment, sat up in bed and said, oh my heck, I have to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And motorcycling has really become a metaphor. What happened in that dream has really become a metaphor for my life. Motorcycling has saved my life. I was a shy housewife. I was in a not very good relationship and had really low self-esteem, was really just lost. And I woke up and I said, I have to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And I did. I had a job at a bank at the time, and a fellow in a leather jacket came up to my window, and I said, do you ride a motorcycle? Yeah. I said, can you tell me how to get started? I have to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And I just want to share with you that he told me the best advice possible, that I needed to take a motorcycle safety foundation safety class to get started. And that was the exact right way to go. Proper training is essential to learning how to ride well and to be safe and to build your confidence. And so I did. I took the motorcycle safety course, and the rest, as they say, is history. I got my license, and I was scared to death. I do want to share that I was from a family who didn't look positively on motorcycling. I had actively campaigned against my sister getting her license. And so this was really, really out of the box for me. And through motorcycling and pushing myself in this endeavor that really stretched me, and I learned to love and enjoy. I found my community. I found my purpose. I found my passion. I found my business. I found my lover. And it's just become the way that I show up in the world, the way I explore the world is on the back of a motorcycle.
Cool.
So
Cool. And that's a little bit of that of my story in terms of midlife and I always thought motorcycles were badass. And while I kind of felt badass, I didn't feel that badass. So yeah, I wanted to learn to ride to kind of look the part. And I know in business, so I teach communication in business, and I know we talk about when you dress appropriately, when you look the part of business person, you exude that energy, and you come across and act businessy. Do you find that with motorcycling also, in terms of looking the part and having the bike, and you exude confidence even though you may not feel it?
I believe so. I believe so that I do. I know that I am my best self when I am on the motorcycle, because I show up as brave, I am open, I'm inquisitive, and I am accepting of what comes my way, much more so than I am when I'm off the motorcycle. So you're so right about dressing the part in business or on the motorcycle. When you dress in the proper safety apparel on the motorcycle, it gives you that extra confidence boost, and you can step into that role. And I believe that's what's helped me step into having a confident, kick-ass life, is by adopting that persona, if you will, dressing the part, acting the part, and then stepping into it.
You use that phrase a lot, a kick-ass life, and I love it, because that's just like, yeah, that's what I want to have. So why is confidence an important topic for you and an important conversation for you? I mean, you've said how that's helped you and changed your life, but you've taken that even further and really tried helping other people, other women, find their confidence. Why is that important?
True. It's important to me because I wasn't taught how to be confident growing up. I made a lot of poor choices that were, luckily, I have recovered from with aplomb. But I made many choices in relationships and in business because I lacked confidence, because I couldn't dig into my strength, and it was just a skill I wasn't taught. And along the way, as I started building my confidence and trusting in myself, I just kept thinking, man, if I had just learned this stuff as a child, how would the landscape of my life look and feel and be different? And now, don't get me wrong, I do totally accept my journey, and I really actually embrace it, because I wouldn't be who I am without having been the other direction. But I always kind of think, wow, what if we all women grew up being confident, and how would that change our lives? How would that change our careers? How would that change how we show up in our families, in our communities? So that's why it's become important to me. And I wrote the motorcycle book about confidence, boost your confidence through motorcycling, a woman's guide to being your best self on and off the bike, because the confidence journey was so important to me that I wanted to share that with other women, because I know that when we hear another woman's story, we can very often see a part of ourselves in their story and see that same possibility for ourselves. So by sharing my story and some of my tips and tricks, I hope to help other ladies step into their power, find their confidence, and yes, their kick-ass lives.
And yes, and I get asked a lot in my trainings by women who say, they share an idea in a meeting or in their job site, and it kind of gets, yeah, that was nice, and then a guy says almost the same thing. I'm not trying to bash men versus women, but just seems to happen that men seem to say things with such confidence appearing, or sometimes bluster, but that's okay. And it does seem to help women when they learn to do that. be more respected, be more seen. Do you find that men need what you teach in your book also, or is this kind of more a woman thing?
Well, my audience is very specifically women.
Right.
That's who I talk to, and that's who I enjoy empowering the most. But I certainly do think that men can benefit from reading my book. I have talked to many men who when I was on my book tour, I had many men come up to me and say, "Wow, my daughter or my wife or somebody, they're just not that confident, and I'd love them to have some of what you have." And I said, well, if you want to understand them, then, buy the book, read it, and then give it to them. And that'll help you understand it, because I talk about how women build confidence, and it's helpful for men too. But men are just wired a little differently.
Yeah.
They don't ask for help. They don't, it's a lot harder for them to reach out, raise their hand and say, I need a little bit of help with that, or I need some guidance. Whereas we women, we're much more likely to do that.
Yeah. And society doesn't allow them to show weakness, unfortunately, either.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like imposter syndrome pops in there with that confidence, with the confidence, I don't know, representation or?
Yeah. The thing is that when someone's confident, they may not be confident in all areas. I have confidence in many, but I still have my areas where I'm a little, and I need to put on my power suit and step into what I want for myself. One of those, a perfect example is Facebook Lives. Now, here I am. I know we're recording this for television. I have no problem with this. But somehow that rawness, that vulnerability of Facebook Lives, I have a really, really hard time doing it. And I have known for 3 years that I would sell more books, I would sell more programs, I would sell more tours. It would dramatically increase my business if I could just do the Facebook Lives. And so what I say to all women is we are all a work in progress. And sometimes you can borrow from one of those silos of confidence. You can play a mind game with yourself, which is what I often do. I say, well, gosh, I did this, so I should be able to do that. Why don't I just give that a try? And I take from this pile and I put some more in this pile of confidence, and sometimes that sees me through. That's a good trick to use sometimes. And
okay, so that's a great like pause, because time goes fast. We're going to have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want you to go, I don't know if it's deeper, but share some other techniques, some other tactics for confidence from your book, and talk a little bit more about your book too, because you literally that's a great lead in. You gave us one tactic. Let's hit some more. And with that, we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Think About It. I'm still Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I'm still talking with Alisa Clickenger, who is the founder and the ride leader with confidence of Women's Motorcycle Tours. So we've been talking about confidence, and right before the break, she shared, I should just say welcome back, Alisa. But right before the break, you shared one technique you use to kind of rebuild your confidence, to keep away that imposter syndrome feeling. So you wrote the book, and hold the book up if you have it with you. Yes, you wrote the book, Confidence Through Motorcycling. Viewers who weren't here the first half, this is for non-motorcyclists and motorcyclists. So give us some more tips on how we can build our confidence, whether we're feeling it or not.
Well, I talked about borrowing from one silo of confidence to another, and that's I mentioned that that's one of the things that I do sometimes. Certainly looking back on past successes and congratulating yourself. I think an important part of any type of growth is celebrating your wins and then being able to go back and review them, encapsulate that feeling, and bring that forth into the next thing that you're doing is super powerful. You had asked me about another technique to use, and one thing that is really helpful and uh, is, well, we've all heard the trick about if before you go on stage, adopt the Wonder Woman pose. Or I find that if I have a moment to myself, the one of the yoga poses, like the warrior poses, really help me to ground, and they help me to really center in on my personal power, and then I can come out feeling more grounded and more confident. But sometimes you don't have that opportunity. So sometimes, if you're on a stage or you're like, it's immediate, you have to do something right away, focus on your breath. Take
Mm.
a couple of really deep breaths, and you can do that, just in a calm way. Imagine the air coming in your nose, down your throat. Imagine the breath coming all the way down through your body, through your heart, through your stomach, all the way down into your feet, and then back out. Breathe in, bright light, breathe out everything that wants to go. And just taking 2 or 3 breaths that way, giving yourself a moment to compose, can really help as well. If you don't have that opportunity to stand backstage and get into the the Wonder Woman pose, or do some yoga or something like that, something just some as simple as the breath can very often bring you back to center and come from that quiet place of power. Another thing that I do
Yeah.
is when I'm on a stage, I didn't think to do it today, but this is a stage. When I'm on a physical stage, very often I'll take a moment and I will focus on the breath coming into my heart. And I will actually imagine beaming rays of love to my audience from my heart. And connecting with people on a heart level, on an authentic level, is another really great way to access your confidence and your interpersonal power. So let's see, what else can I?
I like that because we talk about the disconnect with the virtual world through the pandemic, and the returning to the workplace is going to involve kind of a mixture of virtual and in person, and making that connection virtually. Um, I have a problem with the term virtual too. We're not virtual. We're really having the conversation,
Yeah.
remotely. I like that idea because I can feel you. I can feel your energy just in your presence on
Mhm.
camera. So
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks. And when I started talking, it wasn't there, but as I'm thinking about the exercises and I'm thinking about coming from my heart, coming from my centered place of power, that's where I drop into automatically. And so for anyone listening, that may not happen automatically for you. I have years of practice of doing this, and I have years of practice in putting myself in situations that are uncomfortable. A lot of foreign travel. I in 2009 to 2010, I rode my motorcycle alone from Connecticut to Argentina. I rode all through the Americas. I rode through Central America, and I rode through South America. And that's what I mean by putting myself in those positions where I have to learn, I have to stretch, and I have challenged myself a lot in that way to build my confidence and to build my inner strength. And a lot of that, I'm not extraordinary, I'm not special. I know it sounds like an extraordinary feat, but it is through building blocks of smaller challenges leading to slightly larger challenges, leading to slightly larger challenges, that I have been able to do a trip like that. I have done many things through adventure that have challenged me, opened me, exposed me in way, and stretched me in ways. And through each of those activities, I have learned tips and you know, I have a lot of tools in my toolbox now. So I know just focusing on coming from my heart, that brings me there, and I can do it right away. So it may not happen immediately for you, but I promise if you practice, practice with the breath, practice coming from your heart, practice coming from your place of power, you can, people can feel it, and they really can feel it over the the virtual.
Yeah.
As you said, Sylvia, people really can feel that. They can feel where you're coming from. It doesn't, you don't have to just be genuine in person. You can get your personality, you can get your heart through on the camera just fine. Yeah, I think
Awesome.
you can feel it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you feel the shift when I sent
Yeah.
that?
Plus, you had just come from another meeting too. So there's that energy shift
Yeah,
to settle down that we experienced too.
yeah.
There's a saying in the motorcycle world that there are two types of riders: those who have gone down and those who are going to go down. And for those who are not into motorcycle terminology, at least that's one saying I've heard, going down means dropping the bike, means falling off, or falling off the bike while it's usually when it's still moving. Although when you've parked it sometimes. So the metaphor that I see that brings me to mind is what we've gone through most recently in the pandemic. But really, in reality, there's always a time of something troubling happening. There's always a time that something is confidence defeating experience in our lives. So this is not just coming out of the pandemic, but any time. So A, have you dropped your bike? And B, how do you get back up? And again, the metaphor to the real world also. How do we get back up and forge ahead when we've hit that confidence deflating experience?
Well, I've already mentioned the best way to do it, which is catalog your wins,
Okay.
take it in stages, and build confidence one small step at a time. So let's say that you were on a TV program and you got horribly embarrassed. I'll just use this example. Hopefully it won't happen to me. You got horribly embarrassed. And then, so the next time you think, oh my heck, there's no way I can do that. Well, maybe you start. So when I say small steps, maybe you start with a podcast where they can't see you. Right. And then maybe you go on a Facebook Live. Maybe you build up to that place where you were. There's one thing that gets you there, the fast track, and that is being authentic. The more you can be you, not trying to be somebody different, not trying to be something that you're not, the more you can genuinely be you and connect to you on the inside, that really is the fast track. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of self-acceptance, and it takes a lot of practice. And there are days when, for me, it's easier than it is for other days. We all have fluctuations in our energy, and women have more fluctuations because we are in tune with nature's cycles so much more. So we are dealing with that, and we are navigating life in a different way than men do. And so you're not gonna, it's unreasonable to expect that you're going to be on top of your game every single day in the same way. So accept yourself as you are and share yourself authentically, and I assure you that really is the fast track.
Cool.
And I did want to mention that I also, you said that I talk about a kick-ass life a lot. I do teach a program, Your Confident Kick-Ass Life, and it's not just for motorcyclists. It's for women of all shapes and sizes and backgrounds and previous history. And what we do in the course is we work on confidence, we work on goal setting, and we work on creating the confident kick-ass life in your image, not in somebody else's image, not in the image that your parents wanted you to be, or your sister shamed you into being, or maybe a spouse did or something. You know, we work on accessing what's inside and true for you, and creating that confident kick-ass life organically so that you can thrive from the inside out.
And how do they find out about that course? Is that at your Motorcycle Tours website or a different one?
Yeah, that's also on the womensmotorcycletours.com website. It's womensmotorcycletours.com/kickasslife.
Real quickly, the Motorcycle Tours, what's that about in a few seconds?
Oh, I have a big event this year in 2021. We are celebrating the 101st anniversary of women's right to vote with a cross-country motorcycle ride for lady riders and those interested in the motorcycle lifestyle. We have a women's motorcycle festival and conference August 19th to 22nd in Arlington, Virginia. And I would love to have you come out. Yes, it's motorcycles in the background, but it's also about women coming together and finding their power and finding their strength and finding their community. And I'd love to see you there. I know I'll see you, Sylvia.
Yep, we'll be there. And they'll find all that even if they see this program long after this. All of your updated info is at Women's Motorcycle Tours.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, that's where you can find everything.
We are at the end of the program. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I am confident that there is a huge need out here in the world, even more so coming out of being alone for so long, to get what's in your book and to learn what's in your course. So I'm hoping viewers connect with you and learn a lot more. And with that, thanks for being a part of the program to our viewers, our listeners. And until next time, tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. Make a great day.